Hi everyone, Mo here, and I'm going to show you an art journal page using the modern lettering kit from Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft. Let me quickly show you the marks that each of these pens make. Let's start by writing something. This is the superfine calligraphy SC, and let's start by writing hello. And let's make some marks and see. Like, these are all the marks you're getting from just one pen. That was the superfine calligraphy. Then I have the superfine brush. I'm just writing with the tip. I'm not putting any pressure, just letting what the pen naturally does. That was superfine brush. Now this is a 1.5 bullet point. I think this is the one I'm going to use for my journaling part. And then there's the brush. Just let me show you in comparison. This is the brush and this is the superfine brush. And you will see that the superfine brush has a much finer tip. And you saw the mark that it made over here. So let's work with the brush. So this was the superfine calligraphy, superfine brush, 1.5 bullet, and this is the brush. I think I'm going to take the superfine calligraphy for my title and the 1.5 bullet point for my journaling. So now let's get started with the page. For starters, this is a coloring book page from my coloring book Farm Fresh. This is the kohlrabi page, and I have cut it out with scissors after printing it out at 30% of the original size. I'm going to attach it to my page with some gel medium. This is a watercolor paper. I have cut it to 6 inches by 9 inches, and this is just printed on plain text wet paper. I don't worry about my gel medium getting on the background because it will dry clear. I'm sealing the image on top also with gel medium. Now that the gel medium on this page has dried, I can add some colors. For that, I'll be using gelatos. These are all iridescent colors. You can use any of the colors that we have. If you have seen any of my other videos, you will see that even though I use coloring pages on my art journal pages, I hardly ever care to stay within the lines. And I encourage you also to venture beyond the lines. If you have seen a kohlrabi, they are this white and very rich purple and somewhat green. I am very new to this vegetable and I have roasted it and I really like the taste, but even more than that, I like how they look. Just taking some water here. And very loosely doing some blending not even bothering to stay within lines. I can come back in and add details if I want to, but for the first wash of color, it's totally fine to just layer it on and not worry about staying within lines. I'm also adding some color for the top part of the page so that part is not left totally blank. Again, really loosely, just getting some color on the page. I'm going back in while the paper is still very wet. So I pulled out some watercolor pencils. These are the Art Grip watercolor pencils. And let me just go over some of the details. I'm adding some browns near the roots because these are vegetables that are pulled out of earth and the root is still there. So some dirt is also there. Again, I do not want you to feel like you are coloring by number, where every block is a different color or something like that. It just keep it loose. So now my page is dry and I'm going to start adding my journaling and making my marks. Let's start by adding a title using the Superfine calligraphy pen. As you write with it, you would get a feel for it and you will know how to turn your pen and how much pressure to put at each stage. It just gets a little getting used to, and with any kind of lettering, practice definitely makes better. And I am not a calligrapher, but because of these pens, I find it much easier to write better than I normally would with a regular pen. So that's the title, and now I'm going to add my journaling about here. Now I have added my title and my journaling, and now I'm going to make some marks to make my page come more to life. For that, I'm bringing back the Superfine brush pen. Just giving my drawing a definition, little definition. I mean, this is a printable coloring book page, so everything is actually already on there. But if I bring the brush pen here, the Superfine brush pen, I can make it look like that I almost drew it actually on this page. And if you hesitate to draw, if you're afraid that your drawings don't look good, this is a very easy way of achieving that hand-drawn look on your pages. You do not have to do every single line. You could if you wanted to, but I find choosing and adding marks selectively, it looks more artistic, as opposed to if you outline every single thing, it would look more elementary school. And that's just my opinion on that. You could totally try things out and you never know what you like best. I'm just loving how fine this, and as you saw, I added medium to this page. This is a watercolor page which has a natural texture to it. Then I added a medium, then I added colors. with gelatos and with watercolor pencils, and yet my pen simply glides over it all. It's beautiful, these pens. And if you want to add anything on top, any wet layer on top of these pens, that works great too, because these are India ink pens, meaning once the ink is dry, it's permanent. It's like mixed media art journaler's best friend. I can hold this pen just like I would hold a paintbrush, way farther back rather than holding it at the very end of the front end of the pen. And I find that helps me glide my pen over the page much easier, and I get a more painterly look that way than if I was trying to define like every single one like this. I like that loose watercolor of look, and again, that's just my preference. Feel free to do what you like best. I think I'm gonna stop there. So the only pen that I haven't tried on this pen yet is the brush pen. So I'm bringing that in and I'm gonna make some marks. And my marks are super simple. I just make dots, dashes. I do not want to take attention away from the main focus of the page, which is the image and the writing. But this is just to anchor things together. And it's so much fun. Adding marks is so much fun. You have to try it and then you will just can't resist it after that. And I'm barely making the pen touch. It doesn't take any effort or expertise, just making the pen touch on the page, and there you go. Again, a good thing to remember is that we do not want to fill up every empty spot on the page with a mark, because then it kind of defeats the purpose. I'm gonna keep going. Very small marks so that it doesn't interfere with the legibility of the journaling or the title, but something that pulls the whole page together. And there, my latest art journaling page using the modern lettering kit. Thank you so much for watching.